Welcome to the episode of I Love the 90s Basketball Jordan Edition, where we'll react to some of the best defensive plays of his airness. To see more of the best moments, dunks, and other defensive plays, check out our previous episodes, available right now. All right. See, this is your problem. You thought that Michael Jordan could only score, but what you didn't know was he also was able to play defense, especially in his own house. I don't care if you are Hakeem Olajuwon. Watch this.
Give me that.
Get low. Didn't even box him out. Comes in, snatch.
Quick hands.
Oh, you see how mad Hakeem was? Like, really? Really?
Hakeem just has his head down. He's not paying attention to where anybody from the weak side is coming from. And that's where they just call him the black cat. He just digs in there and gets his hands in the play.
You always had to watch him coming over for the steal. You always had to watch him come over for the weak side block. You always just had to know where Jordan was at all times on the court for offense and defense.
Big, stop bringing the ball down. Like, bigs, every time they put the ball on the ground and they make a dribble move, you're bringing the ball back to the level of your defender. And MJ is just so good at its hands. If you bring that ball and you put it by your waist, it's gone.
This is why they taught the big man to hold the ball above your head. Remember, that was the whole thing. Snatch it and immediately put it above your head, because here comes this annoying little gnat-like guard that's going to come and slap the ball away.
I remember when I played, when he guarded me, I was just always watching for his hands. He got good hands. You got to always watch him.
See, MJ was the original Clark. Like, see, Kawhi stole that from MJ. But see, you got to have a special gift to dig, to help. Kawhi Jordan. Kawhi Jordan. That's what I named him last year, Kawhi Jordan. He played just like Jordan. I mean, he don't have the wiggle and the bow-legged walk, kind of, but, he played like MJ a little bit. But, that's why it's the claw. Them big hands, man, they able to swipe down and get all ball. They basically palming the ball in the strength, though. Like, you got to have good strength, especially when you're doing that against the center.
It's a shame we didn't see Hakeem versus Michael. That's one thing that the NBA missed. We never saw that, and it's not as intensely missed as Kobe versus LeBron. I mean, God knows we all thought we were going to see Kobe versus LeBron. We didn't start off wanting to necessarily see Michael against Hakeem. They didn't play in college against each other, and so there were a lot of just misses.
It's a shame that we never got to see them in the finals. I wish we would have gotten that, 90, it would have been nice to see the Bulls against that 94-95 Houston Rockets team, especially coming from a Bulls fan, because that would probably mean there'd be 8 championships, not 6. Oh, baby Shaq with hair, skinny Shaq.
Big Diesel, MJ, if Shaq would have maintained that body right there and wanted to be an A+ student, he got 4 rings. He would have got 6 or 7 for sure.
Okay, baby Shaq, what you got? What you got, baby Shaq?
Give me that Shaq. Come on, man. What you doing?
He just takes a swipe at you, and the ball's going the other way.
Welcome to the league. I heard you're going to be a really big deal. I heard one day you're going to be a Hall of Famer, but for now, give me that.
And he blocked it with the left hand. See what I'm saying? Like, that's special. Like, do you know how hard it is to block a shot with your opposite hand? Like, you don't understand. Like, that's hard to do. And I was kind of with a shot blocker, and I always went up with my right. Like, but to block Shaq going up in the paint with your left hand, but the swipe back was so disrespectful. Like, give me that. I know he said it. He had to. Give me that.
It's just quickness. It's anticipation. It's studying. It's having learned how to do that. Also against Patrick Ewing. It's doing that against the Robert Parrish. It's doing that against the great centers that he had to come and double down.
The theme here is that Michael Jordan understood that his bigs were in the game for rebound and screens, size, and defense. But he also knew, since they weren't scorers, it was important to dig down on the big-time players who could put up big numbers in an era pre-2000s, where if you look at the scoring list, they were basically dominated by centers.
Look, Michael gets full credit for a block or a strip, whatever you want to give him. But it still starts with great defense in the low post by Bill Cartwright, which is why Jerry Krause, oh God, I'm going to give Jerry Krause credit. Pay attention. Jerry Krause said, I'm going to give up Charles Oakley, which a lot of us hated at the time, to get not only Bill Cartwright, but it opened up room for Horace Grant. And those guys played such great interior defense. And Bill Cartwright 7-1, man. Bill Cartwright got his butt in front of Shaq, and he wasn't scared to do that. And that allowed Michael to come over and leave his man, and Shaq still trying to force it, and he can't force it.
Shaq really was so dominant. And to the point where it's like, it's even surprising that Jordan was able to get that out of his hands because how strong he was.
Well, it takes a lot of strength because a weakling like me did a dig down at Golden State against Uncle Cliff Robinson, swatted at the ball, shattered my hand and broke it and got a plate and 5 screws in it. A play that I've done a million times and a play that you see MJ continue to do. And so the strength in his hands and his timing was impeccable.
Always keep your eye on where Jordan is because he's sniffing the ball out, and go up strong like you're Shaquille O'Neal. That's it.
Like, that's disrespectful. Is this Bash Center's Day today or what? What's going on?
It's out. Brick. On the fast break, Jordan somehow is there.
I feel like there's 10 feet between him and the ball. He closes out, gets the block.
Where did LeBron get it from? Huh? Where you think LeBron got the chase down block from? Come on, man. We saw Jordan do that plenty of times. We act like LeBron made this up. As great as LeBron is at doing that block, come on, Jordan was doing that too.
Then somehow is already at half court for the outlet pass, and then perfect pass to my boy Stacey King. Hot sauce.
Have you ever been in that situation where with all of your might, I'm about to score, I'm gonna feel good, I'm gonna get back on defense, ball just left your hand, and you come down and you literally don't know where it is? That's because MJ's trailing you. That happens. It's like, where did you come from? He's a phantom. He's come to steal all of your points. You're not going to score, sorry.
All these clips, he's blocking all-time greats. Who was that, John Stockton? Now, give me that little man. Let me hawk you down for a little bit. See, it's the difference. See, with centers, he was kind of swiping down or needed the setup. With guards like John Stockton, I'm going to chase that down. Daddy ball. Like how I be doing my sons in the driveway when they try to lay the ball up. Give me that. So I can block they shot with my left hand. But Jordan was doing this to the greats. Like left-handed, like blocking shots with your left hand, opposite hand again is so hard.
It's still easier to pin something with your right hand. Think about the way Jordan would dunk. 2 feet leans this way, right? Like, so your body angle can get this block like this. Jordan got this damn block with his left hand, with his off hand. That's the crazy part about this. Like, on 2 feet, leaning to get the block this way, and then swipes it with the left off the glass. Like, that dexterity is next level. Like, it's pretty much saying, I'm gonna jump, and I'm gonna figure out which hand I'm gonna block this with while I'm making that decision in the midst of my jump. Like, you're taught your whole life to jump one way. You're taught to run, jump, left leg, right, as I'm hitting my leg and my stuff all over my kitchen drawers because I'm getting excited. But it's the fact that he was able to do it like that. That's just that angle is it's different, man. He's different.
And again, so many times Jordan continues the possession. He doesn't swipe the ball out of bounds so he can go and get dapped up by people in the front row or the trainer or the guys on the bench who are geeking out. He saves the possession, boys and girls. Learn something.
Indiana, Chicago. Let me see. I don't remember this one. Let me see which one. Oh, yeah, I do remember this one. Let me get the steal. Wait. Oh, this the block. Oh, same.
Look at that face. He's like, I got it. I got it. Not so much. I mean, it was a nice play that they ran, but not nice enough.
Jordan did not get screened, recovered, block Reggie's shot, and then save the ball from going out of bounds. See, that's a clip that you show if you're a head coach.
I like the fact that MJ has his arm in there. Like, and this is where I appreciate the physicality of the game, because it was different back then. Like, there was an arm bar. Like, all right, Reggie chops down the arm bar, fine. A lot of times at that particular situation, the guy chops down your arm, players quit on it, right? Or we see guys that after they get hit, and then they get hit by the offensive player, chops down the arm, and then they get hit by that first screen, they stand up. Jordan never stands up.
They teach this, and when you at practice, a lot of people don't see this, but the way he was locking and trailing and didn't get the screen on that pin down was impressive. Like, he didn't need any help. Like, he's locking and trailing. By the way, he's guarding Reggie Miller. So that's a hard task to do, because Reggie Miller was like the king of setting up people and coming off for actions.
Reggie's one of the toughest dudes to guard, by the way. Anyway, the way he moved without the ball, I had a chance to guard Reggie. And he's one of the hardest guys to guard, because he's instinctive on knowing how to bump you and get you off balance and then circle or fade. He was so good at that. But Jordan just always kept pursuing, man. He always pursued. You know, Jordan had hard times with Reggie now. I mean, he blocked him sometimes, but he had a hard time guarding Reggie. He's one of the toughest guys to guard in that era.
We hear Reggie on TV nowadays, but like that like Reggie back in the day was a killer. Like, you know, he was in the water he was a shark in them waters, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he wasn't like Jordan, though. He wasn't a great white shark, but he was more like a hammerhead.
You know what, though? Part of me feels like if Reggie Miller's jersey wasn't so big, he wouldn't have been weighed down, and maybe he could have scored that. Like, MJ's jersey was not that big, so maybe that was holding him down. But you'll never see that again. Block and save. And still beat half of both teams down the court just in case they need his airness to score, because that's how much he cares about the game.
He was not interested in doing what so many people were doing, which is like blocking the shot out of bounds. He wasn't interested in that. That's not what he learned in North Carolina. That's not what he learned when he got to the Bulls. He wanted to save the possession, make the possession count. And I don't know, I would consider that, if I was a statistician, and I'm biased, I'm a Chicagoan, a steal and another steal, 2 steals instead of a block, or a block and a steal.
He never quits. He never quits on the play. There is no off switch. He is always hunting it down. He's hunting the ball down. He's hunting the right play down. He's nonstop.
Damn, it's incredible to see not only one of the most gifted offensive players you've ever seen in history to play the game, but when they're just as reliable on the defensive end as they are on the offensive end. So you put this dude on the opposing team's best player. Like, think about what we say today. Well, we don't know if we want this guy to guard this guy and try to drop 40. That might be too much for him to do, right? Like, and this guy, and back in that time, was like, no, I'm gonna guard him. I'm gonna give him the business defensively. I'm gonna be physical with him. I'm gonna make it painful for him, and I'm gonna give him 40 on the offensive end. Like, you should expect that high level caliber from me on both sides of the floor all day, every day. That's what made him good.
And you could see how it like flowed in the rest of his teammates. I had a chance to really feel what that was like, playing with a guy as competitive as Jordan on that end of the court, and Kevin Garnett. And just to play with somebody like that, it make your teammates like that and better on that end of the court. You saw that with Jordan.
I'm struck by how different MJ made the game when he was on the court. It seems as though, again, every play mattered, but in a world where I've grown up where a lot of the rules were shifting towards offense, and you want to see high-scoring games and you want to see these amazing shots, it seems as though the defensive play matters just as much when Michael Jordan's on the court, or he's able to make that defensive play just as many times as he's able to make the shot, which is something that you don't usually see, or why we don't always see MVPs that are defensive players of the year, Giannis excluded. But, it's just something that's unique, something that he brought to the game. And if you're trying to emulate Michael Jordan, if you're trying to do it right now and be the best of the best, then defense matters to you just as much as offense does, because he proved that night in and night out.
PE crazy, 2 knee braces on the sideline, baseline inbound to MJ. Ooh, out of the double team, split the double team. Ooh, up and under. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Talking about operating the elevator, get the steal. Oh, lose it. On the recovery, the chase down block. I remember that play against the X-Men, Xavier McDaniel.
he was ferocious on defense, man. Damn. He was just too competitive. Look at this.
Poor Knicks.
That's a perfect example when I talk about the Bermuda Triangle. It's because we're going to talk a lot about systems. I don't care what the athlete is. It could be Tom Brady, it could be Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter. We talk about how great the system is. But all of a sudden you get a ball to a great player and everything you put on the board looks a lot better.
First of all, let's start with the inbounds play. We don't have one, get it to Jordan. He will dribble through 6 players and also everyone that's on the bench and then score. This is every inbounds play for the Bulls, I'm guessing.
99.9% of people would have been trapped into a turnover, a low possession play, and or forced up a bad shot.
Just splits the double team, buckets.
Then stole the inbounds play, lost the ball, and then hustled down.
Sprints his ass off.
He's going to chase you down when you think you have a breakaway layup and knock it out of bounds.
That's almost impossible to kind of strip a guy from behind when he ahead of you for a layup. That's how good his hands was, man. How you strip a guy who like 6 feet ahead of you, catch up to him, and get a clean strip.
Is he more than one person? Because that's the only explanation for someone to be that active and cover the entire court.
That's what makes you the GOAT.
Okay, so this is what happens, right? In today's NBA game, to a degree, somebody does a move like that, right? Crosses John Stockton over, finds a way to make a shot, and does something, right? Throws up some sign, does a little dance, does all this stuff. Whereas, like MJ back in that day, scores that bucket, doesn't even believe that he scores the bucket, doesn't care. Automatically, you see his head on a swivel defensively, thinking next play, and gets a steal, tries to do a move, turns the ball over.
He's going to run him down after the disappointment. He could have just said, okay, we got a possession coming up. I just scored and we had a steal, so what? No. It's not what he did. He didn't stop there and say, let me have some load management time. He got his ass down the court and got to X-Man. That is the quintessential Michael Jordan. Effort. You know how angry he was at himself for not holding on to the initial steal. And he took it out on the other guy.
That level of energy happens when you make a mistake, but it's really special for the people who don't compound the mistake, because you always see the people who make a mistake and get a dumb foul and then get a technical foul on top of that.
Like that skill set alone, the skill set of just sheer desire and effort, like that can get any young kid out there, if you just play hard every possession, like that can get you paid $20, $30 million in the NBA. That's insane to me. And here's a guy who was the greatest player of all time, potentially, playing with that type of caliber of effort defensively, not kind of allocating his energy play by play, where we see guys who say it's a long season, or I got to save my energy for the fourth quarter, or see guys quit on plays or walk back on defense. Well, they're going to get that one. I'll take my energy for when it matters down the stretch. Like, this is a guy who just, I don't even know what quarter it is. I can't even tell you. He's just playing. This is just how he plays all the time.
Okay, so what does Jordan have in his veins?
His heart not pumping Kool-Aid. It's not pumping blood. It's pumping hot sauce. Like, that's a fiery individual right there. Like, Jordan is a savage. Like, he's a savage on and off the court. You can tell. Like, still to this day, he's holding grudges against, like, guys like Isaiah Thomas. Like, you got to have a different type of blood running through your bloodstreams to be like that.
It was something. It was, I think I'll call it more Red Bull. I mean, his energy is just, it's like he never gave up.
He has electricity in his veins because you can't turn this dude off. Yes, let him marinate. It works.
There's a reason why it's called ice water in their veins. is because when everybody else is hot and sweating and panicking and in a frenzy, he's cool, like Stu would say. Rest in peace, like the other side of the pillow.
The voltage, zap.
Right? Like, there's certain people you get around, their energy just shifts the caliber of your energy. And that's Mike. So when I think about Mike, I see this relentless spirit. I see this spirit that is just yearning for greatness, to compete and to be the best at everything he does. It's almost like who he is. It's the thing that is in perpetual motion and it never stops because it's always pursuing. It's always in pursuit. That's who he is. That's his whole aura. That's his whole energy.
Not only is he like made of something different than everybody else, but he wants to spoil it all for you, like make you look salty, make you feel salty, make you not feel good. Like he's the only one that can play with this in his veins. He is here to hurt your feelings, break your back, make you feel salty, and then go home with the championship. And he did it a lot.
One of the requirements usually for the best player, before the league started to just play smaller ball where you could see somebody like PJ Tucker at 6'5" playing center in today's NBA, which is something that would never have happened in the past game. Your best player was required to compete on both ends, not just be the leading scorer.
Offense is like that shining golden medal or whatever, and defense is like the bronze. It's like, you got to show up, work hard, and really no one cares about that block stat, that 1.6 blocks you're averaging per season. But what they don't understand is that's the block that won the game, or that's the block that changed the momentum. A shot can do it, but just as much as a big defensive play. And a lot of teams feed off of that. I feel like the Bulls fed off of that. Their defense was great, and we probably don't talk about it enough, but the head of that horse was Michael Jordan. Like, he was the one laying his body out there, jumping out into the fans or into the cameraman, trying to save a ball that he's knocking out or trying to block a ball. Like, not everyone's doing that. Not everyone's laying their body on the line to play defense, and he did that. And if that's the best player on the team doing it, then everyone's going to follow right behind you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.